Hey, this is Penny with Specialty Outdoors and another one of my Keeping It Real videos, tutorials. I call them the Keeping It Real video tutorials because I don't have a fancy video setup and I'm not going to clean up my sewing room just because I had an idea to show you some stuff that I've been doing. So this video here is going to be about adding magnets to the edges of your van shades. In my some of my other videos, my tutorial, I made tabs on the edge of the shades, but these ones, we're going to put the magnets right into the edge. There's a couple different ways to do this. So let's talk about magnets a little bit. These are all neodymium magnets. I get them from Applied Magnets. The prices are much better than Amazon, and I'm still experimenting with different sizes. What I have here is these ones here they're really, really skinny. I don't know if you can see that. They're 1/16 of an inch thick. They're 1/4 inch wide, and then they're 2 inches long. And they put a spacer in them because they're so strong that they stick together. But one of the challenge is these magnets are super fragile. And then also these skinny ones aren't as strong as these other ones here. This is a 1 inch by 1/4 inch by 1/8 inch magnet. And what's interesting is if you put two of these 16-inch ones together, it's the same amount of pull as 1/4 inch one. And I experimented, I made a sample of both kinds of magnets, and you just don't get the kind of hold you want with 1/16th of an inch magnet. So I've been ordering these by the each. You can get them off of Amazon, but they cost more per piece. So this is what I've been using. So let me show you how I've been attaching these. In my other videos, I used a tab, a tab made out of wide grosgrain, and that would be something that would come out here. For these shades I've made, I'm experimenting with putting the magnet inside the tab. I don't know if you can actually see the bulge of it right there. And there's two different ways to do this. One of the ways to do this, and I've got one here in this corner, is you can actually make a slit. I don't know if you can see this slit right here with the scissors, and just shove the magnet in there. And then you use a soldering iron, which looks like this. You can heat it up, and then you can mash it against the binding to melt the binding closed. In addition, you'd want to put a line of stitching right there to keep the magnet from sliding around. And so this one here, you see I made a line of stitching on this side. I made a slit on this side and shoved the magnet in. But you can also see this, the stitching came undone. The next thing I'm going to try is a slit that goes this way, and then mashing it closed with a hot soldering iron and making sure I'm stitched on both sides. All right, so here's one way of doing this. So right here, I have my bound edge. And notice when I've bound it, I've really tried to get it really even on both sides. If you have a 1-inch binder attachment for your machine, it's a no-brainer. Otherwise, you've just got to, really just fold it and keep measuring and fold it and keep measuring. I keep a seam gauge allowance in my hand and just double check as I go along. But anyway, what I've done here is I opened up the stitching just a little bit. You can see there I cut the stitching. I use a razor blade to do that, like this, really carefully. And I want my magnet right in this corner here. So what I've done is I've opened the stitching kind of down from where the magnet goes, and I can just pop it in. And if you've got enough room for them, they just slide right in. You can push it down in there. Okay, this is a little tight. It's not going to go as well as I thought. But then what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to do a bar tack right there, and then I'll be able to close up this line of stitching. Ideally, I need to push this magnet down a little further so that this opening is not near the magnet, because there's not enough clearance to get your presser foot here to stitch it closed. So you can see with a little diligence, I pushed that magnet all the way down to the end there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bar tack it right there, and then I'm going to restitch it right here. Remember, I'll back stitch, go about an inch and back stitch again, and then my binding looks really pretty. It doesn't have a big weld mark where I've cut a slit and welded it with a soldering iron, which I'm going to show you that in just a moment. Okay, so here you can see I've placed another magnet. I've got the bar tack right there, and then this pin here is marking where the other bar tack is going to go. And here you can see the opening I made with the with just a slit to get the magnet in there. And you see how we've got a ragged opening in the nylon now. And what we can do is, this is a soldering iron. And see, I can just kind of melt that closed, which it's fast, but I kind of think it looks nasty. So I will probably use the method to stitch it closed that I've got right here to show you. See how I opened it up, and then I've got my bar tack marked, and then I've got the magnet in here. So I'm going to stitch that closed. The ones where I've tried with the slit and the melting, I'll go ahead and close that up. But you know, even though this is the wrong side, it doesn't look nice. You know, if I was selling these, I wouldn't want to have that on there.